They're about to hand the house back, and police are saying they're refocusing resources to detectives assigned to this case. At first glance, that sounds like the investigation is slowing down, but it can also mean something else. The case is changing phases. Here's what's confirmed from current reporting. The home has been treated as an active crime scene for weeks, and it may be released back to the family soon. And there's also reporting that the sheriff's department says the case remains active while it refocuses resources to detectives specifically assigned to it. Now listen closely, because this is the part most people miss. When the visible activity leaves the front yard, the work doesn't stop. It moves behind the curtain. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down what this shift typically means, what it does not mean, and what usually happens next. And quick, subscribe so you don't miss the next update. This story is moving fast. All right, let's start with the house, because the home being released back to the family is not a small detail. In most investigations, keeping a house as an active crime scene is a very deliberate choice. It means investigators believe that location still has information to give them. Physical evidence, trace evidence, patterns, timelines, something. So when reporting indicates that crime scene work is wrapping up and the property may be returned, that often signals a pivot. Not a conclusion. A pivot. It usually means the scene has been processed to the point of diminishing returns. Photos are done. Measurements are done. Evidence is collected. Swabs are collected. Items are logged. And the main question shifts from, what else can we pull from this physical space, to, what can we pull from people, phones, vehicles, video, and tips? And I need to be clear about what this does not automatically mean. It does not mean the case is solved. It does not mean they're done searching, and it does not mean they gave up. It means the investigation is moving from visible work to invisible work. And here's the reason you should care. The moment a case pivots from scene-driven to lead-driven, it changes everything about what you will and won't see in public. Now let's talk about the second piece, refocusing resources. This is the wording that makes people nervous because it sounds like we're scaling back. But refocusing resources can also mean something more precise. It can mean they're shifting from having boots on the ground at the scene to a tighter internal workflow. It can mean they're prioritizing tip triage, sorting and vetting tips faster. It can mean more video review, more timeline reconstruction, more re-interviews, more analysis. And there's a practical reason departments do this. When a case becomes public and widely discussed, tips start pouring in. A lot of those tips are junk. Some are emotional, some are misinformation, some are trolls, but mixed in there might be one real lead. So the department tightens the process, assigned detectives, defined roles, and resources that shift depending on what leads actually have weight. Let me give you the cleanest way to understand this. There are basically 3 reasons you'll hear wording like refocusing resources. 1, they're narrowing the target. That can be a good sign. 2, they're protecting the integrity of evidence and the investigation. That can also be a good sign. 3, they've hit a wall and they're conserving manpower. That's the scary one, so which is it here? From the way it's being described publicly, with an emphasis that the case remains active and that patrol presence is still being maintained, that often reads like reassurance while the work shifts into channels the public won't see. And that brings us to the part that drives people crazy. You may see less, even if they're doing more. Because the most meaningful moves in an investigation don't happen on the sidewalk. They happen in the quiet places, reviewing surveillance footage frame by frame, rebuilding timelines, cross-checking vehicles and movements, interviewing and re-interviewing people with sharper questions, comparing statements, finding inconsistencies, closing dead ends. And that means something important for you as a viewer. If you notice fewer cars outside the house, fewer visible search moments, fewer daily updates, don't automatically assume surrender. It might mean the case is now lead-driven, not scene-driven. Now here's what typically happens next after a shift like this, especially in the next 72 hours. First, there's usually a final sweep and an evidence inventory lock. Basically, we know exactly what we have, where it is, and what's being processed. Second, the lead board gets updated. What's open? What's closed? What's priority? What needs another look? Third, the tip funnel tightens. Fewer hands touch tips. The criteria for what gets attention becomes clearer, and the goal becomes speed. Get to the real leads faster. Fourth, you often see targeted re-interviews. People who were cleared early sometimes get revisited, not because they're guilty, but because early interviews happen when information is incomplete. And later, investigators come back with better questions. And fifth, there's what I call the silent review. The stuff they won't announce. The quiet work that actually cracks cases. Now a quick word on something that matters. The public can unintentionally hurt investigations when they flood tip lines with vague theories, repeat rumors with no timestamps, or send "I heard" claims with no date, no place, and no identifiers. If someone truly has information, the details are everything. Time, location, vehicle, direction of travel, video, a name, a receipt. That's what moves needles. So here's the bottom line. If the home is being returned, it likely means the on-site evidence phase is wrapping and the case is moving deeper into lead work. And if police are refocusing resources to assign detectives, it can mean fewer visible signs, but more concentrated effort behind the scenes. This case can look quieter in public, while getting louder in private. Now I want to hear from you. What's the bigger red flag in your opinion? Is it the case going quieter around the house? Or is it the refocusing resources wording from police? Comment A for the house going quiet, or B for the resource refocus. And tell me why. And if you want the next update the moment it drops, subscribe. Because this story is still moving.